this thing up. All right. Big old chunk of clay here. Big old chunk of clay. Luke, you have none whatsoever, Luke? Just follow along, buddy. You can build it after the break. All right? So now we're going to extend this thing. Now the thickness is going to be chosen by you. I am going to go with 1/4 of an inch because I can. Get it close. You just don't want it any thicker than 1/2 inch. Okay? And then we are going to roll out a slab and we're going to cut all projects out of this thing. It's not going to take It's not going to take very long. Okay? So you'll need your rolling pin. And I'm even going to go to the floor because I got a big chunk. And I'm going to throw mine. And that just extends it a little bit more quickly. Flip this over. And then use the space you can. You might end up needing to make another slab on the side. This is okay. All right. And again, this will extend into second period for you. I mean, not second period, to the afternoon for you guys. Now I'm going to take my rolling pin. I'm just going to get it nice and even and consistent. And at this point, you might even be able to roll slabs for yourself without having to use those spacers. Once you get good with the rolling pin, you don't have to think about it so much. And I am simply extending and flattening out and making consistent my slab. All right. Again, we're not overthinking this one. We are going to build these and then put them outside for a little bit because we want them to set up. All right. If you have your gift card with you, blank gift card, or even the soft edge of a rubber spatula, here's where you're going to want to smooth it out. Make sure it's nice and even and consistent. Okay. And we are then going to find a circle, just like we did last time. You might have that one that we used on Monday really close. This is going to be great. Okay? Now again, we don't have to think too hard about this one. I'm going to go with I'm going to use the same circle even. No, that's going to be hard to pick up. Yeah, I'm just going to use this one right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a few circle sketches. You don't have to make them perfect, okay? We're just going to get it close so that you have the line inside of the clay so that you know where to compress your texture or do your drawings, your simple carvings. Nice and easy. I did not cut those out yet. Ingrid, are you caught up with me? ish, caught up with me ish, close ish, okay? All right. Antonio, are you where I am? Do you have your circles done? Close? Okay. Again, this can spill into the next class. Next step. I am going to use the exact same texturizer that I used last time. My exact same stamp. I'm not going to change anything about it. And I'm going to place my stamps inside of my coasters in an organized fashion. And I'm going to go a little bit outside of the edge because I know that eventually I'm going to be cutting the circles out. The reason why I'm having you draw the circles first is because sometimes you don't want to waste time creating a bunch of stamps on the whole thing that you're not going to be cutting out. It can be very time consuming. I'm just going to knock this out real quick. Not overlapping my stamps. I'm going to continue on with the process. Nothing crazy. All right. Simple, easy, effective, not difficult. Again, these are softball projects. Next step. You can use that same circle. However, if it's bigger than the one that I'm using, then you might need to create a longer strip, okay? And here's what we're going to do for this next project. If you understand space and how forms are made and things are put together and so forth, you look at this thing, Ceramics 2, this is a small cookie jar that we made last year, okay? So this guy has a base that's going to be a circle, nothing fancy there, and then the entirety of the wall is going to be a strip that is rectangular. It's going to be about 10 to 12 inches tall. I'm sorry, height-wise. And then length-wise, 2 inches. And all I mean by that is, here, I'll write it up on this thing. Two inches, 0.5, and then lengthwise, 10 to 12. Okay, so you want to have more material if possible. Now watch these next couple steps, because then we get to take a little break from working with clay once you're at this point. All right. I am now going to trace my, let's see how wide this is. 3.5 inch circle. And cut it out and separate the circle as it is. And then that gets to sit there for a second. The next step is very simply to create a straight line using the leftover clay. If you don't have leftover clay, it's okay. Roll out another slab that ends up being a little bit longer. This good stuff right here can go back in my bag because ain't nothing wrong with it. And now, using my straight line, I can create a 2.5 inch mark. I'll use that. 2.5 inch mark. And then do the exact same thing at the bottom. And all I'm doing is creating a rectangle or a strip, whatever you want to call it, that's going to sit. Okay, I can square this one up. That can go back in the bag. And that can go back in the bag. I'm going to move this one over just a hair, just so that it stays nice and straight. Now you'll always notice when I'm handling soft clay, I'm handling it with care. You don't want it to get all crumbly and funny looking, so you hold it right here, let it drape a little bit, then try and keep the line straight. And now that this one is taken care of, I am going to cut these guys out so that I can get the extra stuff back in my bag of clay. There's my circle. I was trying to find it. Now this process is not any different from what we've done before. It's a very simple action. All you got to do is take your needle tool or your X-Acto knife, and you are going to simply cut. What did I do with my needle tool? 4 circles. There we go. 4 circles. One, 2, 3, and 4. Nice and easy. And then all this extra good stuff can go back in your bag. Now what this might potentially look like if you weren't able to roll out a big old slab like I was, oops, that guy's stuck, he's okay, is you might have had to roll a few little slabs and then cut them on their own. Not a big deal. That doesn't change anything about what we just did. I was just able to work with a bigger slab and create my cuts in one fell swoop. Okay? So now what I'm going to do, anybody who has access to the sun, we're going to want to get this out there for about 15 minutes. It's pretty warm in the sun. It will dry out and set up so that we could use this to create the walls for our little mini pot. Okay? Okay. If you don't have access, easy access to outside sun, then you want to get this thing near a hair dryer. Spend 5-6 minutes blowing the entire thing. Don't focus on one spot because it's going to dry them out too much. These guys are more or less done. Leave these alone. But we do want this to set up a little bit and this to set up a little bit. So hair dryer, sun for 10 to 15 minutes. Or if you're blasting your heater right now, get this thing kind of close to it. Okay, I'm going to go take a second. I'm going to go put this in the sun.